They thought they could destroy Israel, but one man, one prophet, stood alone. One voice, one challenge, and God sent fire from heaven. What happened next changed the fate of a nation forever. In the days of King Ahab, Israel had turned away from the Lord. Altars to Baal filled the land, and the prophets of God were hunted, imprisoned, or killed. Darkness covered the nation, and the people cried out to false gods who could not hear or save them. But God had not abandoned his people. In the hills of Gilead lived a man clothed in rough garments, a prophet named Elijah, whose heart burned with courage and whose spirit carried the fire of God. Elijah confronted King Ahab and boldly declared, "As surely as the Lord lives, there will be no rain or dew in this land until I command it." From that moment, the skies grew dark, rivers dried, and crops withered. For 3 long years, Israel suffered under drought, as the people begged to Baal, screaming in desperation, but the heavens remained silent. God sent Elijah to hide by the brook Cherith, where every morning and evening, ravens flew from the sky bringing bread and meat to sustain him. And when the brook dried, God sent him to Zarephath, to a widow with only a handful of flour and a little oil. Elijah said, "Make me bread first, and your jar will not run empty." And indeed, the flour never finished, the oil never emptied. When the widow's son fell ill and died, Elijah prayed, calling upon the Lord. The boy's chest rose and fell, and life returned to him. The widow fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face, and she knew that the Lord was truly with them. Faith and hope were restored in that humble home. After 3 years of drought, God commanded Elijah to confront King Ahab and summon all Israel to Mount Carmel, along with the 450 prophets of Baal. The mountain thronged with people, tension crackling in the dry air. Elijah stood alone, while the false prophets crowded the other side. He raised his voice and said, "How long will you waver between 2 gods? If the Lord is God, follow him. If Baal is God, follow him." The crowd was silent, unsure who was truly God. Elijah proposed a challenge: 2 altars, 2 sacrifices, no fire. Whichever God sent fire from heaven would prove his power. The prophets of Baal went first. They danced, shouted, screamed, and even cut themselves, calling upon their God from morning until noon. But nothing happened. Elijah mocked them, saying, "Shout louder. Perhaps your God is sleeping or traveling." Still, no fire came. The tension on the mountain was thick. Fear and doubt filled the hearts of the people. Then Elijah rebuilt the altar of the Lord with 12 stones, dug a trench around it, and soaked it with water once, twice, 3 times. The altar, the wood, the stones, and even the trench were drenched. Elijah lifted his eyes and prayed, "Lord, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant." Suddenly, fire fell from heaven, engulfing the altar, the wood, the stones, and even the water in the trench. The crowd fell on their faces, shouting, "The Lord, he is God." Elijah commanded the people to seize the prophets of Baal, and they were executed. The false voices were silenced, and the power of God had been revealed in full glory. Afterward, Elijah climbed Mount Carmel and prayed again. Clouds gathered in the sky, and rain poured down, ending the 3-year drought. The people rejoiced, the rivers filled, and the earth was restored. But God did not abandon him. An angel touched Elijah and said, "Eat and drink." Bread and water appeared before him. Elijah ate, drank, and found strength. He walked 40 days and 40 nights to Mount Horeb, guided by God's power alone. There, on the lonely mountain, God revealed himself not in fire, nor earthquake, nor wind, but in a still small voice. Elijah listened. He understood that God's power is not only in dramatic displays, but also in quiet whispers, patient and gentle, working unseen. God reminded Elijah, "You are not alone. I have 7,000 in Israel who have not bowed to Baal or kissed him." Elijah realized that even when the world seems dominated by evil, God's plan is perfect. Faithfulness does not always require shouting or grand displays. It requires trust, patience, and obedience. The prophet who had called down fire now understood that God's work often happens in ways unseen, that he protects, restores, and guides his people through both dramatic victories and quiet restoration. And so, Elijah, the fire prophet, continued his mission, carrying the knowledge that God's power is unmatched, his mercy unending, and his presence ever near, even in the darkest moments. The mountains, the rivers, the valleys, and the people of Israel all bore witness to his glory. The story of Elijah reminds us that courage, faith, and obedience can turn despair into hope, silence into fire, and a nation into a witness of God's power forever. If you enjoy this, please subscribe and share.